Okay, today we're going to look at how to convert units of capacity. And the first way we're going to do this is by using dimensional analysis. And it sounds pretty fancy, but really it's just a nice way to make sure that we don't divide when we're supposed to multiply, multiply when we're supposed to divide. So in your notebooks, let's go ahead and write dimensional analysis. Alright, and where I am at number 3 on page 325. Okay, so this is like the practice paper if we were doing a paper copy. But let's just look at how we can use dimensional analysis to help us convert. So number 3 is 20 quarts, and they want to convert that to gallons. Alright, now at first this may seem like a really extensive and cumbersome process, but really it's going to help us kind of eliminate any unnecessary mistakes. So first of all, let's start with writing our initial quantity, so 20 quarts. So we'll write it as 20 quarts, and we'll just put it over 1. So just like when you're writing a whole number as a fraction, you just put it as 20 over 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply it by whatever the conversion rate, okay, is going to be for gallons to quarts. Now, here's where the nice thing about dimensional analysis is. Whenever you want to get rid of, so if I want to cancel quarts, just like when we cancel fractions, when we multiply, we have to write it diagonally. Okay, so I'm going to have to write quarts down here, and I know that I can go from quarts to gallons. Okay, so real quickly, this rate right here is just from here. It's just the 20 quarts, and I wrote it as 20 to 1 so I wouldn't get confused. This rate is just going to be the conversion rate, and I'm going to get that from up here. Alright, so let's look. I want to go from quarts to gallons. It's right here. It says there's 4 quarts in 1 gallon, so I'm going to write 1 gallon is 4 quarts. Okay, so notice the box in the red is completely separate from the box in the yellow. In other words, all I did was just look up at that chart to see how many gallons were in a quart, or vice versa, how many quarts were in a gallon. So now what we need to do, since these are fractions, we're just going to multiply the fractions. 20 times 1 is 20, and 1 times 4 is 4. So if we think about it, if the quarts cancel out, and we're just left with gallons here, 20 divided by 4 is 5, and so that means that there's 5 gallons. So it says 20 quarts is 5 gallons. Alright, let's also take a look at number 5, where it's talking about 33 pints to quarts. And before we go any further, I just want to make sure that when we're talking about capacity, that's simply talking about the volume of an object. So capacity is how much space is inside an object. Sorry if the background noise is a little loud. I had to do this video here out in public, so it's going to be a little bit louder. So if there's some random noises, just try to just not be distracted by that. So here's what we're going to do. Let's take our initial rate here, which is 33 pints, and we're going to write it over 1 because we're making it a fraction. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply it by the conversion rate of pints to quarts. And if you look here, it says 2 pints is 1 quart. So what we'll do, we want to get rid of pints, so pints is going to go on the bottom so that they'll cancel, and we're left with quarts. Okay? Alright, so here's how this works. Since there's 2 pints in 1 quart, we'll go 2 pints in 1 quart, and we'll multiply going straight across. And we go 33 times 1 is 33. 1 times 2 is 2. So it'll be 33 over 2. Now this one's going to be a little bit tricky, okay? If we take this is an improper fraction. If we do 33 divided by 2, 2 goes into 33 16 times. Okay? And so if we think about it, that's 16 with 1 left over. So it'd be 16 quarts with 1 pint left over. And if you notice, your answer spot has a spot for quarts and pints. So it's 16 quarts and 1 pint would be the value of 33 pints. All right, so now you're going to try number 8 on that same page where it's 24 fluid ounces, and we're going to convert that to pints. So Mrs. Fiercest is going to pause this video, give you a chance to try it. Again, refer back to the problems we just did if you are stuck. So good luck, and we'll go over this in just a minute. All right, hopefully you had enough time to do that. So let's take a look. We're going to start with our initial value here of 24 fluid ounces over 1, because we want to make it a fraction. And what we're looking for is pints to ounces or ounces to pints. And if you look, it's going to take a couple conversions. So first of all, if you notice, we can go from ounces to cups and then from cups to pints. Okay, so we're going to have to do 2 separate conversions. So this one's going to be fluid ounces. Excuse me, that's a highlighter. I wanted a pencil. This one's going to be fluid ounces. And then this one will be cups, because I'm going from fluid ounces to cups. And it says that there's 8 fluid ounces in 1 cup. And if you notice, I've canceled out the fluid ounces, and I'm left with cups, but that's not quite what I want. So I need to do one more conversion. And that's going to be this one right here, 2 cups to a pint. So I want to get rid of a cup, and I put pints up here. And it says for every 1 pint there are 2 cups. So if we multiply this going straight across, 24 times 1 times 1 is 24. And then if I multiply going straight across here, 1 times 8 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. Alright, so if we look at this, 24, we're trying to see how many times does 16 go into 24, and it goes in once, so we have 1 pint. And if you think about it, we have 8 ounces left over, so 1 pint and 8 ounces. But if you notice up here, 8 ounces is 1 cup, so it'd be 1 pint and 1 cup would be our final answer. Okay, so these are customary units of capacity. Now we're going to take a look at the metric units of capacity. Alright, so let's take a quick look at number 4, where we're going 20 or 40 liters to milliliters. Now I know you guys have done this in science before, so this will be just a quick refresher. But really the quickest and most efficient way of converting metrics is using the stair-step method. So the way I remember it is to go kids, which would be kilo, have dropped over is meaning like the base or the origin is starting point, dropped over dead, converting metrics. Probably not the way you were taught, but that's okay. All you have to remember is to make sure you remember the values somehow. Okay, so if we're starting with liters is actually the origin in this one. So we're starting here, and we're going to milliliters. So if you notice, milliliters is down here. So we're going down 1, 2, 3. So if you notice, that's kind of going down. And if I were to ask you, all right, is that arrow going left or right? It looks like it's going more right. So what we do then is we move our decimal then right 3 places. So we go 1, 2, 3, and in these empty spaces we'd fill them in with zeros. So the answer would be 40,000 milliliters. Okay, let's take a quick look at number 6. 29 centiliters is how many deciliters? Alright, so again, let's write our stair step. So if you remember, it's kids have dropped over dead converting metrics, and we're starting at centiliters, so that's right here, and we're going to deciliters here. So if we count the stair steps, 1, 2, 3 places, and if I'm looking at that arrow, that has a general direction of left. So we're taking 29, with the decimal right at the end. We're going to move 3 places to the left. So 1, 2, 3. Fill in a 0 there. So the answer would be 0.029 deciliters. Alright, why don't you try number 7, which is 7.7 kiloliters is how many centiliters? Alright, make sure you use the stair-step method and give that one a go. Alright, hopefully you had enough time to try that one on your own. What we're going to do is we're going to start here with kiloliters, and we're going to go down to centiliters. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That general direction is to the right, so we're going to take our 7.7 and move our decimal 5 places to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So the answer would be 770,000 centiliters. Okay? So whenever we convert units of capacity in metric, we're just going to use the stair-step method. Alright, for the last examples, let's take a quick look at lesson 6.3. Alright, so let's turn to page 331, and we're going to try number 5. It's going to be the same method. We're still going to try to use dimensional analysis in converting these units, but this time it's going to be mass instead of capacity. Alright, so let's say on number 5, we have 400 pounds, and we're converting that to tons. So if we have 400 pounds, we're going to write that as a fraction, so 400 over 1. And if you remember, our next fraction is going to be the conversion rate, okay? So I want to get rid of pounds, so pounds is going to go down here on the bottom, and tons is going to go up here. So I'm going to use this conversion rate right here, where 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. If you remember from the previous examples with capacity, what we're going to do is multiply going straight across. So 400 times 1 is 400. And 1 times 2,000 is 2,000. So then the only thing we have to do then is take this 400 divided by 2,000. This 400 divided by 2,000, and if we divide that out, 400 divided by 2,000, if you want to use a calculator, that's fine. That's going to equal 0 and 2 tenths, and that's going to be tons. So if you notice the pounds cancel out, we're just left with tons. So this answer here, the 2 tenths tons, is going to be our final answer. So why don't you try number 8 on your own. And number 8 is taking 65 hundredths tons and converting that to pounds. Alright, so after you pause this video, I'll go over the answer on how to do this. Hopefully you had enough time to get that done and started. So if we have 65 tons, that's going to be a fraction, and we got to convert this. So tons is going to go down here and pounds up here. The reason is we're canceling these out, and we want to just be left with pounds. So let's fill in our conversion rate. For every 1 ton, there's 2,000 pounds. And so to solve this, we're going to multiply going straight across. Okay, so 65 hundredths times 2,000 gives you 1,300. And 1 times 1 is 1. So 1,300 over 1 just gives you 1,300. And the answer is pounds. So 1,300 pounds would be our answer on that one. All right, and one last example, number 3. Number 3, we have 30 grams, and we're converting that to decigrams. All right, so if we do our stair step, kids have dropped over dead converting metrics. All right, excuse me, we're starting with grams, so right here, and we're going to decigrams, so one place down, in other words, one place to the right, so we have 30, one place to the right, fill in with a 0, so the answer would be 300 decigrams. All right, so make sure you take your time on your math space, give it your best effort, and please keep your notes out so you can use those to help you if you get stuck.